Arriving in Lucerne by train, we take taxis over to the hotel. We're staying at the Balance Hotel. It's right on the waterfront here on the River Royce. It's a beautiful hotel with a modern interior. It's a historic building that dates back about 500 years. Most of the rooms have this beautiful view of the water and the Jesuit church and part of the old town across the way and the mountains in the distance. One of the first things you want to see in Lucerne is the famous Lion Monument, carved directly into the cliff, commemorating the Swiss mercenary soldiers who lost their lives in the employ of King Louis XVI in France during the French Revolution. And just next to the Lion Monument, there's an excellent gift shop. You'll find half a dozen of these large gift shops scattered through Lucerne, and certainly shopping is one of the pleasures of travel. You can take your pick from cuckoo clocks, or you can get a beer stein, maybe, of course, the ubiquitous Swiss Army knife. But remember, you've got to carry it all home with you, and we're actually just getting started. Maybe a cowbell would fit in the suitcase more easily. And just near the Lion Monument is the Hofgarten restaurant. Now, this is a primarily vegetarian restaurant. They also have some other items, but they do specialize in wonderfully prepared vegetables.
Wow, look at this.
And we had a zucchini roll. We had kind of meals with an Indian accent here. They have Swiss cuisine as well, and really fine service from the waiters and the chef in the open kitchen. So you can sit there and watch them prepare your food with all of these fresh, natural ingredients. The Hofgarten restaurant is right over near the Hofkirche. We'll show you in a moment, near the Lion Monument. It's kind of on the edge of town, so you would have to walk over here. It's about a 10-minute walk from the center of the historic district, but that's easy enough to do. The Hofkirche is a Catholic church in this otherwise largely Protestant part of the world. It's built in the Gothic style with a Baroque touch. The interior has some beautiful Baroque ornamentation, as does the facade. It's one of the signature landmarks of Lucerne, centuries old, and Lucerne has a brand new landmark that just opened a few years ago. It's the new concert hall. And this is quite a stunning and modern structure. It's right on the waterfront, just next to the train station, just outside of the old town. And it's really marvelous how they've been able to place the concert hall in this spectacular setting and build it in this modern style in a way that doesn't clash at all with the old town, because it's separate from the old town. And just in front you have the main boat docks as well. The slanted shore here makes a convenient place for the swans to spend the night. And this is where they tuck in for the evening after taking a bath, preening themselves. There are a nice variety of boat rides that you can take on Lake Lucerne, ranging from a short 1-hour round trip up to a full 6 hours to the far opposite end of the lake shore. You can go all the way down to Freulen. Well, Lucerne in the evening is also an interesting place to see, so after dinner be sure to get out and take a little stroll through town. It's very safe, it's compact. Some of the shops are well lit, and of course the bars and restaurants and the cafes stay open quite late. And there's people around. It's a different kind of atmosphere in the evening. It's much more quiet, more composed, and it's cool and really something to see. The main showroom in town is at the Stadtkeller restaurant. They put on an interesting folk music show every night from 8 p.m. It's a dinner show, so you can have a nice Swiss meal as part of the evening, and you have the background music, and then they play and entertain for you. In the morning, if you're up early before breakfast, you might take a walk along the waterfront and enjoy a beautiful sunrise. On the shores of Lake Lucerne and along the banks of the River Royce, there's the old wooden bridge It's the oldest covered wooden bridge in Europe, first built from 1333. Another view of the concert hall across the waters. Jesuit church in the background. That concert hall is becoming kind of a signature landmark of the city, something like the Sydney Opera House or the new concert hall in Copenhagen. It's becoming a trend in cities around the world to establish themselves with a nice architectural landmark, especially on the waterfront if they're so lucky to have one. And you can see Lucerne is very much wrapped around this waterfront, including a morning market that takes place a couple times a week. They get started about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and come out and take a stroll, look at the fresh vegetables and fruits. They've got some packaged foods for sale and cut flowers. And just a nice local scene. You can do a little mixing and mingling with the residents of Lucerne, and then come on down and have a look at these swans. Now this is a special camera angle, and we're tossing some lettuce and bread their way to bring them in front of our lens, and you get down on these steps and there's this marvelous view of the swans, wooden bridge, and Mount Pilatus in the background. It's one of the symbols of the city. On a nice clear day like this, it stands up sharply on the horizon, Mount Pilatus. And you can actually go up Mount Pilatus by funicular. Getting our shots of the swan. We're traveling along with a group from Hawaii on our alpine tour. It was a small group. There's just about a dozen of us on this trip. And we spent 2 weeks traveling through Switzerland, enjoying the scenic highlights of the Alps and the towns and the landscapes in between. We spend 3 days in Lucerne, which gives us plenty of time to look around, have a look at this early morning market, look at this fresh bread. Dark whole wheat bread is one of the great elements of the Swiss cuisine. And at our breakfast at the hotel, they've got a nice selection of breads and the usual. There's cereals, juice, and eggs. Breakfast at the Balanche, you can eat your breakfast out at the waterfront if you'd like to, or inside in the dining room. When the weather's nice, there's nothing like it to sit outdoors by the water. Recently remodeled front desk of the Balanche. Here's the facade of the hotel. It's nicely painted in the old traditional Swiss style. It was at one time the City Hall of Lucerne, and it was headquarters of the Saffron Guild, or the Union of Saffron Spice Dealers. Out for another look at this morning market. We're on our way, going off to the train station. Jesuit church in the background as we walk across the River Royce on one of the various footbridges. There's the hotel in the background, the Balanche, right on the waterfront. Everything is very compact in Lucerne. It's a small town, only a population of about 60,000 people, so you can easily get around on foot. Inside of the Jesuit church shows a lot of Baroque detail. It's done in the Italian style by Swiss artists from the Ticino, the southern part of Switzerland, where we'll be taking you later in the tour. It's the Italian-speaking part of the country. Torriano and Torricelli were the two artists who decorated the interior of the Jesuit church. And a few blocks over is the oldest church in town. It's from the Gothic period. You see these pointed arches and smaller size. It also has some Baroque decor that was put in over the years in this Gothic church. The chocolates of Switzerland is one of the reasons to come visit this country. These are fresh homemade chocolates at this special little shop that we like to visit. And you can bring these home all the way to Hawaii. They're good for a couple of months, if they last that long, if you don't eat them on the way. Well, that's it for Lucerne. We've shown you some of those quick highlights, and now we are moving along after spending 3 days in Lucerne. We're going by train, by Swiss Rail, first class, over the mountains, through the valleys, on to the town of Interlaken.